Do you remember anything about Esther Mariah?
I remember she and Grandma Virgin were all probably in their 90s, all in their black, beautiful.
We've got a picture of them, huh?
Right, that is all covered with sequins like that they had sewn on. So I remember those, and I wish we had them, heirlooms. And I think that some of the things that they did make were flowers made out of their hair.
Really?
And they put them in those round vases.
Uh-huh.
And we, as kids, I don't want it, and I don't want it. And so they were not saved. But those were heirlooms.
Oh, yes. Now, was it Grandma Virgin or was it her mother that made Victorian lace for
It
Queen?
would be her mother.
It would be her mother made
In
the
England.
Victorian lace. Uh-huh.
And she would take care of the family all day long and sit up all night long making lace
Wow.
to sell, to buy the food for the table, because Grandpa had been killed.
Uh-huh. Now, he's the one that got killed in the train accident in the tunnel?
The train backed over him deliberately to get rid of that Mormon.
Get rid of that Mormon.
Uh-huh.
What was, when Grandma would tell that story, how, it must have been very, very painful?
I would guess so. Uh-huh. I'm sure she wanted us to remember that Grandma worked hard to make a living, to bury her husband there, and then walked across the plains, carried this young baby girl, and a young man, probably a 17-year-old boy, didn't have any family, and so he came along and helped her by carrying this baby. And they both got sick, and probably from hunger and cold, and they both died on the border there in Wyoming. The baby died first, and then he did, and they were both buried in a probably shallow grave there.
Now, one story I heard on that was that the people they were sharing the wagon with kept complaining about the baby crying.
Uh-huh.
And that this guy was a camp follower. He was just by himself, and that he volunteered to carry the baby to keep peace.
Uh-huh.
And then did they take the baby and put the baby in his arms, wrap him up together, and bury him?
Right. Uh-huh.
And then I heard that they covered it with big rocks and then built a fire on top of it to keep the...
That I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'd heard that they put rocks on it and built a fire to keep the animals away, but they had to move on.
Right.
And they only were able to dig it not very deep.
Right.
What a sad thing.
Look at all of the other thousands
Yeah.
that ended up the same way.
Oh.
We owe all of our ancestors a great deal.
Do we have it too easy today? Or
Yes.
just in a different way?
We have our problems, and maybe affluence is a hindrance. Probably depends on what we use it for.
Right.